Hi everyone, my name is Paige Richardson. I'm a rising 2L, and this summer I'm working for Magistrate Judge Litkovitz at the United States District Court for the Southern District of Ohio. My day-to-day for this job pretty much includes attending all the conferences the judge holds for the various trials that are going on. Right now she has her criminal docket, which the magistrate judges share from month to month. So I've been able to sit in on arraignments for the criminal dockets, and I've also been able to sit in on discovery conferences, status conferences, and scheduling conferences for the civil docket. When I'm not doing that, I take projects from the law clerks. And those include writing reports and recommendations for the judge and doing legal research to determine how she should decide a case. I got this job in kind of a weird way. I was an Urban Morgan Fellow, so I actually had a job placement in Liberia doing economic justice reform there. That was canceled due to COVID, and it was canceled kind of late in March, which is late for law students to be looking for jobs, but luckily the Center for Professional Development was really good about helping all of the fellows who were out of luck with their jobs, their international jobs this summer. They reached out to a lot of the magistrate judges and were able to get a lot of us jobs there. Obviously, I still had to go through an application process and an interview process, but I didn't have to do as much of the job search as a lot of my other classmates did. For Urban Morgan Fellows, the job placement search usually includes attending the previous fellows' presentation on their experiences, and then you do a meeting with Professor Lockwood and Nancy, and they will try to get you something that fits your interests. So that's how that process works for people who are Urban Morgan Fellows or interested in having an international placement. For the judge, I submitted my resume, and after she looked through it, I got a call back and did a video conference interview with the judge, her deputy law clerk, and her 3 law clerks. Overall, the job is really, really interesting. I had always planned on doing some judicial externship at some point in my academic career. So even though this wasn't what I had planned to be doing this summer, it is something that I was always interested in doing eventually, and I do still plan on trying to get a clerkship after graduation. The best part about this job is the real life experience that I'm getting. I'm learning a lot of things that we didn't touch on in Civ Pro, in civil procedure classes, even though that's what I'm doing. It's really shoring up a lot of my knowledge in this area. And also with legal research and writing, it's a lot different being in the courthouse setting than being in the academic setting. So I see this as a really great opportunity for me to learn how to be a good lawyer kind of from the back end, because I get to read all of the complaints and all of the motions to dismiss, the responses and replies. So I get to see what real life lawyers are doing, and what I think works well, what I think doesn't. And occasionally on the conference calls, the judge will also introduce me to some lawyers and give me a chance to talk to them. So it's been a really great experience, a learning experience that way. I haven't been overly surprised by my job. I think at the beginning, the most surprising thing was how quickly I was just kind of thrown into everything. Pretty much my first day, I was emailed all of the documents for a case, asked to read it, asked to read through the style guide, and then just write the report and recommendation. So I think that surprised me. I thought they were going to kind of build up to that kind of work. But ultimately, I'm really happy that it worked out that way, because once I started writing, I realized that I was ready to do that kind of work. So I'm glad they didn't start me making copies or printing things first. I was happy in the end that they really threw me right into it. My favorite part about this job is definitely the people I'm working with. The judge is really nice and really good at explaining things. A lot of times after a confusing conference call or any of the criminal docket, we'll do a debrief session, partly because she knows as a 1L I haven't taken criminal procedure, so I get to ask all my questions after I watch the criminal docket. But also, like after discovery hearings, for example, those are really particular, and there's a lot that goes into them. So she lets me ask all of my questions after that, and she's really good about explaining things and being open with me. The law clerks are the same. They're really good about letting me ask questions and making me feel like part of the team. I don't feel like I'm their intern. I feel like I'm working with them, so that's been a really great part of my job. Lastly, my advice for incoming students. I think the most important thing is to acknowledge the fact that none of us know what's going to happen. We don't know how next semester is going to go. We don't know how spring semester is going to go. And we don't know how the summer is going to go. So sometimes I feel like I made a mistake and I was like kind of complacent because of my position with the Urban Morgan. I got a really great job in the end, but it was very, very stressful for a while there. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and do the networking that you have to do. Even if you don't get a summer job out of it, it's an open line of communication that you'll have as long as you're in Cincinnati.